Welcome to the video, SPHL fans. Thanks for watching. In this video, it's going to be pretty cool. We're going to discuss Knoxville Ice Bears. The previous season, they had kind of a historic low, if you will, for them. First time in their franchise history missing the playoffs and finishing last place. Which is gonna lead into talking about the new coach hire there in Knoxville and expectations coming up for for this upcoming season. We got a guest today, long time, lifelong Knoxville Ice Bear fan, Chris Green. Thanks for joining us, Chris.
Absolutely. Glad to be here, Wade.
Um, First thing we're going to get into, Chris, obviously, is last season with the Knoxville Ice Bears. I mean, I'm sure that was not what you expected in the least bit. I'm sure maybe Knoxville Ice Bear fans thought it might be somewhat of a down year because of the players that have left, but they couldn't have in no way prepared themselves for the way that season ended. Can you just kind of give your thoughts about what you thought about going into that year and kind of like where you guys ended up and thought you went wrong?
Yeah. To begin the year, we started the signings. We figured that Justin McDonald wasn't come back. Dino Balsamo, Rasmus Waxening back. None of them was coming back. Our hardcore that scored a lot of goals for us. We was getting talent like Mac Lewis and a couple FPHL signings. But I wasn't really too worried about it because this organization for 21 years prior to last season is put a competitive team on the ice. Had no worries. There was other fans within my friend group in the M1 Mafia that was stating that we wouldn't make the playoffs. And like I stood my ground until 3 weeks left in the season where there was literally no possible way. It was wrenching.
Uh, some of the problems that I noticed with Ice Bears going into the season, besides losing some of the players they lost, there was a lot of players just going in and out, in and out. Rather it was injuries, cuts, signing, whatever. With the goalies, injuries, especially the goalies, the carousel. Can you kind of speak on the goalie carousel because you guys had some excellent goaltending come through the pipeline, but it just seemed like the second they were starting to get settled, boom, another goalie comes to Knoxville.
We started the season with Stead and Zane Steves, and then Steves took an injury. Then on January the 12th, we lost Stead to go to Tulsa, and then the 15th we lost Morris to go to Atlanta. We signed this guy Marco Constantini. He would have had two consecutive shutouts would it not been for Jason Price with a bad turnover in Macon to allow that goal with like a minute left in the game. Just the injuries, the goalie carousel. We've seen a lot of good goalies come through Knoxville. Marco Constantini, really Cody Karpinski really surprised me with that win against Peoria. The
Yeah.
Red. It was tough. We did have a lot of injuries. Stead was suffering from injuries. Zane Steves, two injuries. Levac. I mean, and then I think what really hurt us is the month of January whenever we lost Brady, Stead, uh, Huff, and Jordy Stollard all at the same time. And I think that's really when we wasn't able to replace those pieces.
Yeah. Do you think somewhere along the lines, like maybe the players that were still there, maybe they weren't buying into the system or something? Because some games they would look great, but others, it kind of looked like they were just going through the motions, just out there skating pretty much, just like getting reps in, if you will. So do you think that that was like a coaching, from a coaching perspective, like an issue there?
At, okay, so the first 6 games of the season, maybe, but after Harry took over, Harry has heart. There's no doubt. There's no doubt that Harry wanted to take them. I feel like Harry took the job just because he didn't want the boys to be in bad hands. So he went ahead and stepped into that position. You know, put himself on the line. With his coaching career to try to continue on with this team. I think it was the boys. A lot of boys, I'm not sure that they did buy in, that they bought into Knoxville for whatever reason. I don't know, but there is a question of heart there with some of them for me. Because the fundamental, like y'all are professional hockey players. Some like the fundamentals was not there. The simple things, back check, forecheck, you know, looking like just basic things was not happening in Knoxville.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I meant by going through the motions, because it was just like at times, when you look at their special teams and you look at their team defense, like they were amongst the bottom, like they stayed at the bottom, rather it was converting on the power play or penalty kills.
Bottom.
I mean, it was outright brutal at times, and it just makes you curious. Like, okay, either they're not buying into this system here, or it's a coaching thing, or they're just having a talent issue. And but it's just like you look at some of the names on the roster. I was
Yeah.
a fan of Tyler Rolo. He's that kid's a good kid and a good hockey player, and there's other good hockey players on that roster, and for whatever reason, it just didn't seem like they were connecting. And it's just like maybe as a fan, maybe you can shed some light onto maybe why that connection was being missed.
Buddy, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's something that I questioned all year because I've been a fan for 22 seasons, been coming since I was 8 years old. The people that lead this organization are still leading this organization. They know how to put a successful product on the ice. They know how to treat their fans. They know how to run it and run it right because statistically we're the best in the SPHO. So I have no clue on the mishaps. My greatest guess would have to be the hearts of the players. Just them not wanting to buy into Mike Murray's system.
Yeah. I mean, especially towards the end of the year, because I think and it was unfortunate, nobody, and no disrespect to Knoxville fans or even Knoxville Ice Bear players or that organization, but it was almost like a running joke at the end of the year. It's just like, are they even going to win a game? Do they even care? Are they even going to show up to play the game? Because it just seemed like that last few weeks, it was like they were hurrying to get the season over. Like, we just want the season to end, type of thing. What are your thoughts on how they ended the year the way they did?
They 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 lost 11 straight to end the season. Their last win was 2-1 win in Roanoke off of a Dawson McKinney overtime game winner. And that's a kid. That's a kid I want back.
Yeah.
That kid.
Again, another talented kid. And like I said, that's what made me question the coaching, because I seen talent in Knoxville. They had talent in Knoxville. I mean, they weren't always clicking together at the same time, but you seen it, and you're just like, okay, yeah, they got some players that can skate. They got some players that can score. My two biggest things, we'll see if you agree with me. The two biggest issues, well, three if you count special teams, the team defense, and the goalie carousel. Not having that stability at net, I think, is what really hurt the Knoxville Ice Bears season. I mean, would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I mean, just having to just always have someone new, in net. It takes confidence to be a goaltender, to be able to have confidence in the defense in front of you. And if you have, and same with player, you got to be confident in your goaltender, and just having that carousel, it has to affect them. And the team defense, dude, we gave up more shots than probably anybody has ever in the SPHL. Like the shot differential last year was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think I could speak for you, where in the whole organization, where it's just like I don't think you guys. I think that was humbling. I don't think that was expected. I can't imagine putting myself in that position, looking at the Rivermen organization and us not only missing the playoffs, but us finishing dead last. I mean, just from a personal standpoint, how disappointing that would be. But then you'll have the rest of the league pretty much making you the butt of the joke.
Yeah,
So until the following season, when you can rectify that situation.
and
So
that's fine with me because I know the Bears will be back. Like there's no doubt in my mind, and I think it starts this coming up season. I think the hiring that they done was excellent.
Which,
So
which does bring me into my next topic, that the new coaching hire of John Gurskis. And obviously, I know that had to have been an attractive job. I mean, in my opinion, still Knoxville Ice Bears is an attractive head coaching job, just because of the organization history alone. And so, out of all the candidates, they went with this guy. So, what's your gut feeling on this new hire and some expectations you might have for him?
I watched John play as a player back early days in this league with the St. Pete Parrots, and that was actually ACHL. The Parrots was, but he's played early in this season. I mean, early in this SPHL in their career. He has wit, he has determination, and he's a hard fought player. So and he's a great leader on the ice. So you know he has 15 years of coaching experience. All them years of playing experience. I can just go by what he said at the press conference and what I feel from that. He really stood on players buying in. He said, he was asked where does this start to get better, and he says, it starts with an honest conversation with the players.
Yeah.
So he wants people that's going to buy in, that wants to be there for Knoxville, that's going to develop. He said every player develops, but it might be at a different pace, which is true. But he expects players to develop and players to be professional on and off the ice, and I think that's a great way to start this organization.
Yeah, I mean, definitely sounds great. Do do you have certain expectations to meet for this team? I mean, last year they did finish 10th and, missed the playoffs. Now, obviously, you don't expect a repeat. That's safe to say. So, where are you at with him? Where you're like, you know what? That this is still, I count this as success. Do you expect him to still make the playoffs? Do you think?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You still think that this upcoming season that this new coach can coach him into the playoffs?
That would be that's what I would hope for. That's my expectation. I would expect a 500 team. I mean, I hope for better, but I want a 500 team that sneaks into the playoffs. I mean, I can't say I want. I mean, of course I want the President's Cup, but I mean I can't realistically expect that after last season
Right.
because it's rebuild. And I
Right.
feel we're back at the same spot that we was after Jeff Carr left. 2 seasons later, which it happens and it's fine.
Yeah. And yeah, with the new coach and hire, and that's what I wonder, because some fans, they might expect, okay, yeah, that was a bad season last year. We want to hit the ground running, new head coach, and they, want that instant results, which that may not happen. Do you think this will take some time for the coach to have his impact, for players to buy in? Like, maybe it might not be such a great start, but what the old saying goes, it's not how you start, how you finish type of thing. What are your thoughts?
I think he's going to have people that already know the Knoxville program that are going to buy into the Knoxville program, but I also think he's going to bring in his own boys that are already bought into him. I mean, he's been coaching for 15 years. He coached, up in the ECHL with Wichita Thunder as an assistant. I'm sure he has, knows talent, that'll come to Knoxville. And something I question is Derek Osick came in. I think it was January of last year, and that was his. He come from John Gurskis. That was his boy. So I'm just wondering, if that has some ties, and if it does, then Osick's a great player.
Yeah.
Bring more talent in like him.
Yeah, like I think if I was a Knoxville Ice Bears fan, I think I probably wouldn't expect to finish higher than sixth.
Yeah,
And that's what I would expect. Like, at best, if they're playing great and buying in, like I think if they're in the middle of the pack come the end of the year, I think that's a great position for them to be in, especially heading into the playoffs. Maybe can sneak around one win, but I still don't think, like what you said, I still don't think Knoxville gets to the President's Cup. But I think they can make some noise, maybe some noise that people don't expect them to make.
yeah.
No.
I mean, I'm not going to doubt him too. It's just like real early. I'm very eager to see, what he does with this program and
Yeah.
who he brings in and what we look at, what we look like from like day one, to December, and then from December to April. Really, I just want to see player development. And at the end of this season, my goal is to have a core of guys like we did back in the early days: KJ Voorhees, Kevin Swider, Mike Cragen, David Siegel. All of them. Just Ice Bear legends. To have a core like that to build on for seasons to come, because that's how teams in this league are successful. You have
Right.
a core of players that buy in and return every year.
Well, I mean, uh, as an example, you look at the Rivermen organization and their core players. When you got players like Hagman, JMP, Jordan Ernst, like all these guys keep coming back and buying in. Zach Wilkie. I mean, and you start to develop a core leadership in that group that leads by example, and you get more like-minded people in that room that get on the same page, and magic happens. It's harder to do. That's what people don't realize. It's much
Yeah,
harder to do that in the SPHL level than most levels, because if you can keep a core group together for like 3 seasons, 4 seasons, I mean, pat yourself on the back, because that's rare. That's not an easy thing to do in this league, you know and which kind of leads me, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this kind of happened. It really wasn't pre-planned, but it happened during the making of this video of Riverman signing Gene Guy Trudell to a 1-year deal, and also Eric Levine to an assistant coaching contract and assistant GM as well, which I think is big for the Rivermen. It's a key piece. And from the sounds of the article, it's not like he's looking to leave anytime soon. The only reason it was a 1-year deal is because, we're still with the Civic Center and the ice plant and that whole the lease agreement thing. So, but from the sounds of it, it's like Jean Guy Trudell wants to stay around. So, you know, that just goes to again to the importance of coaching, having a coach like that can stabilize an organization. Are you thinking that Gurskis can be like that type, can stabilize this organization, and recruit well and bring people in like a Jean Guy Trudell?
I mean, dude, I hope, I hope I hope he becomes like a Gene Guy Trudell. I just hope that he can finish. If he does become that, he can actually finish in the finals.
Fair. Now, fair. Like I said, those first three, but the
Yeah,
last two,
that's rough. That's rough.
yeah. And that's the thing with the Rivermen. Like I said, we've had our troubles, yes, but this isn't an organization that's never finished below third place and has always had success in the regular season, but that playoff success eluded them. I'll be the first to admit those early days, those first three, just couldn't get over that hump. But I tell you what, when this is one of the best rosters we put together starting pre-COVID, like around 2019, 2020. Some of those guys left, like Nick Neville and stuff, but for the most part, like I said, Hags, Bears, Ernst, Wilkie, like these are guys that started to come and
Yeah,
decided to stick together and really turn this team into something. And when you have somebody like Jean Guy Trudell and a group of guys like that willing to commit to each other, that's a dangerous recipe in this league.
it is. I mean, you have like speaks back to bringing the core back, having guys buy in. Y'all that that team last year, it was stacked with talent. I mean, it was they crazy, crazy fast.
Yeah.
I still want Caden Cahill. I love that. I
Uh,
love.
Oh, I love Caden. Caden's my guy. The Alaskan assassin. Nobody roots harder for Caden Cahill than me. I love everything about that kid. His toughness. This dude gets his ass kicked every game. Do you ever see him fight, do cheap shot? No, this dude just plays games hard, and excuse my language, but doesn't give a shit.
Yeah,
Just he's so composed out there, and how can you not love a player like Caden Cahill? Honestly, you
yeah.
know. But kind of brings us up to the upcoming season. Talking about all this. we kind of touched on it a little bit throughout our conversations, but I guess now you can officially touch on it. Is yes, your expectations now. You got your coach. It's just like, okay, now what do we want to address first in this upcoming season? We want stable goaltending, obviously, players willing to buy in. If we can get that, what are we looking at, Chris? From your perspective, going in, Chris Green, longtime season ticket holder, what are you going into this season thinking and what this is going to look like?
I'm hoping that we have at least a number one goaltender, strong number two, and I hope we have a couple. As crazy as it seems, I hope we have a couple of our defenders back. We had some good defensemen last year. That young Brendan Dowler, love to have him back.
Yeah.
Seth Enns, I want Enzer back. And then like Dawson McKinney, Tyler Rolo, he's already signed overseas, but like Derek Osick, and Rex Moe, and start with that, and then build some young talent. Maybe sign a couple guys to PTAs. Like see what works, and hopefully we can just have a roster and build better than what we did last season.
Which actually, I do got a question. Does Jason Price retire? Do we see Jason Price in a Knoxville Ice Bear uniform next season?
If you see Jason Price in an Ice Bear uniform next season, hopefully it's a polo on the bench. I love Jason Price, and I think that he deserves a shot at being coach. But I think that he's past his playing time. I think he's, played a couple more seasons than he even wanted to.
Yeah.
So I think that if he's not on the bench, then he'll be in the stands with us.
Yeah. And if he's not there, that kind of leaves a vacancy for the letter on the jersey. Do you have anybody in mind off the top of your head that you could see wearing the C next season?
I think they'll put the C on Rex Moe.
That's not. I bet you that's not. It's a better choice than what some people think, but not exactly. I bet what people would expect.
That's just
Because
yes right now with who I know we have.
yeah, yeah, and he's a. How long has he been on the Ice Bears now?
3 years.
Yeah, and he just seems to fit that Ice Bear mold too. Like
Yeah,
and when he wears the uniform, you're like, and see him, you're like, yeah, that's an Ice Bear. That's kind of like I said, I do the same with other players. Like you look at like say Dominic Procopio with Havoc. It's like, yeah, he fits. You think Havoc, you think Procopio, or like Rivermen. Hags being in Riverman, you think Riverman, Hagman. They all kind of. So I can see Rex Mo fitting that mold, like with Knoxville. When you think that's the type of guy, is style, leadership. I could see it. I can see a Rex Mo.
people think probably when people watch this video, they're going to think Rex Mo, and they're going to think, oh, the guy that jumped in the dogs bench. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
guy that dogs bench, but that was not last season. Season before last. Last season, go look at his penalty minutes. Go look at how many times he actually did something egregious to someone.
I'm
When,
glad you brought that up, actually, because that stood out to me too. The way he played, way more disciplined. His scoring went up. His points went up.
yep,
So, again, you keep on that progression track. You expect more from Mo in the upcoming season, and he can do it. It's like, okay,
yep.
now we've seen you do it for a full season. Build off of it.
He had this overtime game winning shootout goal against Pensacola at home, dude. It was a fake slap shot and just wristed it. It was on Mundinger. It was great, dude. It was great. Yeah, I love Rex. Yeah, I love Rex. His leadership last year. He definitely earned the A after Ports left. He definitely earned the A, and yeah, I think that he's a good contender to wear the C for us next year.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Well, Chris, with that being said, I think we're about to our conclusion on this video. Again, I do thank you for coming on and speaking candidly and just being awesome, talking hockey with me. This is something that I'm looking forward to do and want to do more of with other people, like I did with Zach Starry, just like I'm doing with you. So, again, thank you for coming on. Thank you for talking with me. And I'll turn it over to you before we go. And if there's anything you would like to say before we go, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Thanks, Wade. Thanks for having me, buddy. I enjoy talking hockey, Ice Bears, SPHL hockey, any type. Just I'm passionate about it. I want to give a shout out to my M1 Mafia in Knoxville. You know, we're going to tear that barn down this year. And good luck to everyone, every team. You know, I hope all y'all have great seasons, and that injury bug doesn't hit y'all.
I couldn't have said that better myself. That's what good luck, good health to both teams. I want to see a crazy SPHL season. I want to see high attendance. I want to see everything. Everything that comes with it. Just go. Everybody keep talking about hockey. Keep it in your front of your mind. Keep this ball rolling. It's only positive things, right? We're just fans. Again, excuse my language, bullshitting, talking hockey. It's what keeps the game going, right? The fans do. So why not us, huh?
Yep.
All right, Chris. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Again, thanks everybody for watching. Let me frame this up real quick before I go. Oh, that looks good. All right, take it easy and remember, I always keep it Rivermen style. See you later, Chris.
See you, buddy.
Yeah.